Welcome to the Robb Radio Podcast. This is Mark.
This is Matt.
My ass.
Okay, then.
My ass.
And welcome to the show, Robb Zipp.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I had to give you like a metal opening.
Oh yeah, it's very metal.
Welcome to the show.
That was pretty good.
Robb, it's not Robb's. It's his first time in Studio City with us, but it's actually not his first time on the show.
No, it's
Because
been a while now.
Robb helped me interview Creepypasta at Compalooza a few years ago. It was creepy.
Creepypasta Jr.
Creepypasta Jr.
Why was it Creepypasta Jr.?
That was his name.
That was his name.
Oh, I thought
Robb was like,
I thought you were describing the convention.
And Robb was like, let's go talk to these guys. I'm like, okay, you want to do it with me? Rob's like, sure. We had no idea what we were going to talk about, but
I never know what I'm going to
It came
talk
together.
about. I interview all kinds of people, and I just talk to them.
yeah.
I just like talking to people.
Yeah, and then it was kind of cool. And so this is actually Robb's second appearance in the
That's
Robb
awesome.
podcast, officially. The first time sitting down with us, which is a long time ago. We've been talking about, like, kind of like all summer. Rob's like, gotta get me on the show. And I'm like, I know, we gotta do it. You know?
I've been trying to entice you with
Yes.
Astros bobblehead.
Right? Yeah, or-
Brought you one.
Astros
And,
bobbleheads.
and our schedules came together. You had some adventure. You went out of town, had some adventures this summer and
I'm
stuff.
always going on
And
the
you've
most
always
epic adventures.
That's right.
Yes.
Yes, the most epic adventures, which is like your YouTube gig, right? You got going.
Well, it's a heavy metal travel show, and I'm going to try to take some groups out too. So,
Hey, didn't I meet you at Misfit Toys?
probably
At one point.
with when Matt Frank was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. I see your Godzilla shirt.
Yeah. I was like, you look familiar.
Yeah.
Oh, see how do know each other.
Yeah, well, we've met. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like right after King of the Monsters.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I went to go see it, and then I went to go see him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. My man. I was like, I knew you're familiar. I can't.
My man.
Like,
I should have wore a Godzilla shirt.
yeah, I would have recognized you immediately.
You just
wearing
had
a
a
new-
Power Twins.
And I had to fill out the survey.
I actually almost put on. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I just put 5s for everything.
Oh yeah.
I
Like,
skewed the results.
okay.
Yeah, this Godzilla group were they were trying to rank all of the Godzilla movies.
Yeah.
They had a list, and they wanted you to put like 1 through 5 of what you thought of them, and I just put a 5 for all of them. And they were like, even the 1998 Godzilla. I was like, yep.
With Matthew Broderick?
Yeah.
I was the one
Oh,
who
yeah.
who did the math for everything. I spent 2 hours calculating all the scores and averaging them all out, and I broke them down to like most watched, most least watched, most score, highly rated score, and all that stuff. So it was fun actually crunching those numbers.
What was the results?
I know that number 1 was Shin Godzilla.
Really?
Yes,
Not the original.
then the original was second place. Yeah.
Shin Godzilla.
You know, the numbers don't lie. I didn't.
Sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's the area. There's a lot of Shin Godzilla lovers. I would have voted for the '98 Godzilla just for the Green Day Brain Stew Godzilla song because it's badass.
The only thing that came out of that movie was the soundtrack.
Yeah, and the toys.
Rage Against the Machine.
I had the toys. I had the Apache
What was,
helicopter. I remember playing with that as a kid, and I
The
knew
Wallflowers cover
Yeah.
of Heroes was awesome.
There's like certain bands of that soundtrack. Like, how did they get Rage Against the Machine to do a song for that movie? It's
Yeah.
like these literally political activists from the '90s are like, "Hey, Rage Against the Machine." They're like, they had to be money. There's no way they.
Here's the thing. It was a Sony movie,
Right.
and Rage Against the Machine were on Epic
Sony Music?
Records,
Oh, which was
Yeah.
Sony
which is owned by Sony.
Okay.
So they were contractually.
obligated.
It was probably like a song that was like left off the album.
Right.
They were just like, we'll throw this on this soundtrack.
Yeah.
That's how stuff
True.
like that happens.
Oh god.
But the late '90s
Yeah.
were full of like just big soundtracks like that.
Yeah,
you know,
when-
lots of movies.
compilation soundtracks were cool.
Yeah, Escape from L.A. and all those. Some really bad movies that had these
Escape
really
from
great.
LA.
Had a really great soundtracks.
New Jack City.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
New Jack City.
I've seen that movie.
The Crow had a
Once.
great soundtrack.
Yeah.
But you know,
I have the cassette on it.
but yeah,
I
some
got the
good
8
times.
track.
So the most epic
No.
adventure
Never came out on
Robb-
8-track.
Sorry.
I know.
Metal
Kinda
YouTube show.
Derailing. Yeah.
No, it was his fault. He
Yeah.
realized like, hey, I know this guy.
So
It's kinda creepy.
So I the most epic adventures. I'm doing some heavy metal travels and just general travel stuff, and I'm posting videos on some on YouTube, some on Facebook, most of them on both. But I'm trying to figure out. I'm finding out that it's better to put short videos on Facebook and longer videos on YouTube. I actually had an interview with a band I put on YouTube, and then I tried to put it on Facebook, and it wouldn't even upload.
Oh,
Right.
And it was like a 17-minute video.
That's
It was
weird.
an interview and one of their songs from the performance. So, yeah. And I'm able to be here today. I originally thought I was going to be going out of town, but that got pushed back to Monday because next weekend I'm going to Full Terror Assault Open Air
Nice.
in Cave in Rock, Illinois,
Right.
which is where they used to have the gathering of the Juggalos. They don't have Juggalos there anymore. They have it's basically a death and thrash metal festival,
Yeah.
and so I bought a VIP pass for that, and I should be getting press credentials for that as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's a real laid back. It's kind of much smaller than I went to Wacken Open Air in Germany.
I saw that you went
Last
overseas. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm going back next year.
That's
so
awesome.
And it's already sold out. But if you guys want to go, I can get you a ticket.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get a group together to go next year.
Yeah.
And like you were talking about your friend that was into metal, and man, there's every kind of metal there. There's so many genres of metal. It's like I don't drink beer anymore, but I used to drink beer.
Yeah.
And you know, there's so many different styles of beer. There's not just beer. It's the same thing with metal.
Right.
You know, there's so many different styles of metal. There's
Yeah.
something for, you know, you said you don't really, before we started recording, you haven't listened to the new Tool album. You never really listened to Tool, and
Yeah.
you know, but there's a genre of metal out there for you.
Oh man, I really like some of the classic metal, of course. You
Yeah.
know.
Are you talking about Maiden?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Maiden, some of
Maiden,
Priest.
yeah, so you probably really like some of the power metal stuff.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't really like any of the LA hair metal stuff though.
Yeah.
You know, there's hardly any
Like Motley
songs.
Crue.
Yeah. Oh, I do like a
company-
couple of songs from them.
I'd say
some of the
Kickstart
early
My Heart,
stuff.
Mr. Brownstone,
Oh,
Mr. Dr.
Mr. Brownstone
Feelgood.
was Guns N'
Dr.
Roses.
Feel Good.
Oh, sorry. Yep.
Well,
Still-
and some of these old school metal guys like Rob and like Kerry and Dave on Metal Geeks, like they don't like some of the new metal stuff, which I don't get. Like me and Matt, I love Killswitch.
There's a
Engage.
lot
Yeah.
of there's a lot
I think
of
they're an
passionate.
awesome band.
I don't like Killswitch
But see, old school
No.
metal guys don't like them. I don't understand. But
What about
I
Light
like
the
them,
Torch?
But I still like the old metal.
I don't know that.
That's Howard Jones's new band.
But I still like the old metal stuff
He
too.
was the black singer for Killswitch Engage whenever
Well, see,
Jesse
I don't
Leach.
like Killswitch Engage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
See, there's a lot of
I don't like Five
there's a
Finger
lot of
Death
tribal-
I
Punch.
don't really like them.
there's a lot of
Avenged
tribal cliques
Sevenfold.
within metal that
Yeah.
See, I don't think
they
Avenged
hate each
Sevenfold is
other.
really.
No,
That's
not
like
bad.
pop metal.
Yeah.
So like All That Remains is cool. I like them.
I don't know that.
You know, but yeah. It's just that new age. There's like a split between the old
There's a
school
split.
metals
Like,
and the new age metal.
I saw Parkway Drive at Wacken, and I thought they would have been kind of like in that same vein. They were
Yeah.
really good.
I
Yeah.
die a little every time I hear Coheed and Cambria.
I don't like them.
Yeah.
I don't like them.
I think they're overrated.
Yeah.
Coheed and
But
Cambria.
my friend, my co-host on the Zip and Ocho
Sounds like a
Hour,
hentai
Ocho, he
movie.
loves Coheed and Cambria. You know.
Fuck
Yeah.
Coheed and Cambria.
But you know when it comes down to it, I guess you just like what you like.
Yeah,
But, you know,
exactly.
different things.
Yeah,
Every episode.
and all these bands that you've mentioned, I said I don't like. I
Yeah.
mean, they have tons of fans.
Yeah.
There are people that like them. Just because
Like-
I don't like them doesn't
Like
mean
I'm
that
a
they're no good.
huge Pearl Jam fan that people know about me, and sometimes I get looks from people that are like, "Why?" They won't understand why I like it the way I do.
When I saw the Yankees were playing the Mariners, we air at my job. We air the Yankees network,
Right.
And they showed the crowd, and there was a guy wearing a Pearl Jam shirt because you know Pearl Jam being from
Yeah,
Seattle, and it was like the logo was like the Mariners old logo with the M was the trident.
Mhm.
I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, but I would never wear a Pearl Jam shirt. I would never wear a Tool shirt
Right.
not because I don't like those bands. I love those bands, but Pearl Jam is cum. It's another name for cum.
Right.
And Tool, they name themselves Tool so they can make fun of the fans wearing their shirts because Tool is a dick.
I have heard that story about
So
Tool.
I'll never wear a Tool shirt or a Pearl Jam shirt because of those reasons.
Nice.
They're so witty.
But anal cunt, on the other hand,
So you have your boundaries.
yes.
But hey, so you podcast too. Your other show is
Yeah,
Cool.
I do a couple of podcasts. I do the Zip and Ocho Hour with my friend Ocho.
Yeah.
He's really good about getting with me and making sure we record, and we don't have to meet up.
Right.
We use our phones. There's an app that we use, and it works really well.
yeah.
Especially for what we do. We just have a conversation about stuff that we're interested in. You know, we talk about the Dynamo, we talk about the Astros and Rockets, but we talk about movies and some music. We talk about all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, all kinds of stuff. We don't have a set format.
Right.
And then I do, when I can, I do the Robb Zipp show, and that's just my personal podcast, and I like to just have conversations with people.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like to do like set interviews. Like in 1994, you released this album. Tell me, what was your process on that? That shit bores the hell out of me.
Yeah.
You know, so I like to just talk to people.
Have conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like shows like that too. I think that's one reason I've always been a big Kevin Smith guy. Is his podcasts aren't just interviews; it's just Kevin talking.
Yeah,
And
right.
I like that. I like that format of just chilling out, hanging with your friends, talking about cool shit. You know, it doesn't always have to be formatted. But then sometimes you have formats on shows because it works. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's like this show. We kind of have a format we follow on this show, but at the same time, we're kind of loose about it. And, you know, like here we are, intro of the show, spending, 10 minutes just shooting the shit, you know? But that's okay, because it's fun. Just having a casual conversation.
My bad.
No, it's okay. No. I blame this guy all the time. Not really.
Why?
It's just whoever's sitting in this chair. It could have been Matt.
Yeah, it's usually
usually
me.
is Matt.
Yeah.
That's how you will blame me. No.
But other than that, how's y'all's week's been? Good?
Good.
You were on vacation. You
spent a
weren't
week
like
in
your last
Galveston.
week's show.
Yeah. I did listen
Were
to
you
it,
working
though.
or on vacation?
On vacation.
We need to give a couple of shout outs too. Thank you again to Lindsay and Sam from
Yes.
Home of the Strange podcast for coming on last week. And
And sharing ghost stories.
yes, and our brother in England, Alex. Happy
Alex.
birthday to him.
Oh, yeah.
He just celebrated his birthday. And I have to call him out. I told him I was going to call him out on the show. He mentioned on his Facebook that he just for the first time ever had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And I was like, what the fuck? He goes, well, just because everybody in America does it doesn't mean us British people have to do it. But I thought peanut butter and jelly was like a world standard.
Yeah, I thought it was
No,
like...
it's
You know?
not. Yeah.
It's just like, especially in England though, you know?
They don't eat like bread like we eat it.
True.
And they talk about like when I met some English people in Germany, and they were talking about how our white bread was like cake.
Right.
You know,
They put a lot of sugar in it. Yeah.
we put a lot of a lot of high fructose corn syrup,
Yeah.
and they were like, "It's so sweet. How do you eat that?" I'm like, "Oh,
We
We
have
just ate
wheat
it.
bread.
Yeah.
But no, I figured I'd give Alex a little bit of a hard time. First time ever having peanut butter and jelly.
That's funny.
Maybe it was an orgasmic experience for him. I don't know.
Orgasmic experience. He had a live video that I caught, and he was like, shout out to our brothers, Rebel Radio podcast. We're trying to record with you at another time. I love you. And I was like, love you too, Alex.
Yeah. Cool though. That's all the shout outs I had.
Yeah.
That was it.
That's it.
And
more
then
shouting?
of course we usually kind of know if someone's coming to the show, but so we unfortunately weren't allowed. We didn't know you were coming, Rob, early enough to announce you.
that's
So
fine.
but you're here. That's all.
Surprise, bitches!"
That's right.
Yeah.
It's a surprise.
Surprise,
guest. So when people
motherfucker.
get this on their pod player Monday morning, they'll be like,
Oh, thank you, Rob, for the entry fee that you paid to be on this podcast.
The entry fee.
yeah. So they'll have a surprise Monday morning when they get this on their pod feed. Like, who's this Rob guy?
Yeah,
It's like he's here.
I'm the only Robb Zipp.
We should start a
That's right.
tradition where when we have guest hosts come on, they should give us a free ghost story.
Is that what it is? A
Yeah.
Free
story?
ghost
Do you want a
story.
ghost story?
Yeah, why not?
Oh.
Yeah.
This guy's
I mean,
got one.
I do have one.
Yeah. Is it true or is it, fictitious?
Is it like
No,
you heard
this
it
is-
from a
It doesn't
friend
matter.
or a
This
friend?
this is an actual event that happened
Yeah.
with me. There is a place in that. I mean, do you want me to go on? This could take a
Yeah.
minute. Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, do it.
We're
Do
good.
it.
Okay, so there's this place in Liberty, Texas called the Odd Hotel, and their website is thehauntedoddhotel.com. You know, they really sell the point that it's haunted because there's no other reason to stay there. And so me and my cousin, his girlfriend at the time, and another friend, we went out there, and then there were some other people that were also ghost hunting that just happened to be there, and we all went into this. There was this corner bedroom, and my cousin had one of those flashlights that you have to turn the top part to turn it on and off.
Oh,
Yeah.
Right. And so he set that on the headboard, and then walked to the other side of the room, and then this lady took a picture. She was just taking pictures, you know, and she took a picture of me, and then she looked at it. She's like, "This is weird," and she showed me, and above me was this shadow, and there was like, I mean, I've taken college level photography classes.
Yeah.
I can't explain. There's nothing that could have cast that shadow in that room. That was weird. That was the first weird thing.
Yeah.
So then my friend asked a question, and the flashlight that was off turned on. And then he asked another question, and it turned off. And so, like, basically, he asked another question, and it stayed off. Then he asked another question, and it turned on again. So basically, if the answer was yes, the flashlight would come on, and if the answer was no, the flashlight would go off.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, that's weird. And then, so I was sitting there, and then I felt something go. I swear, I felt like a person walk through me.
It was Patrick Swayze.
Yeah. But like all the hairs in the back of my neck just went, and I was like, oh my God, I felt like something just walked through me. I said it out loud, and then I felt it come through the other way.
That's weird.
And then I was like, all right, guys, I'm
done.
I was like, this has been fun, but I'm out. And I got in my car and went home.
Fuck yeah.
It got too real. Too real.
Lindsay, are you listening?
So
She will appreciate that.
Yeah.
The Haunted Odd Hotel in Liberty, Texas. There's something, I don't know, I can't explain what it is, but
Something out of the normal.
that's my ghost story.
Yeah, I worked.
Even the hauntings are better in Austin.
I worked in Liberty for 11 months in the AutoZone. Boy, what a
It's Meth Town.
oh gosh.
Town.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it felt like the AutoZone was the gathering center for that town. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a town full of
AutoZone.
ex-cons and stuff. It's a prison.
Ex-cons.
Yeah, it's a prison town too. I mean, there's a state prison there. So
Nice.
yeah, fun.
That's pretty good. So we are 2 for 2 now in ghost stories, 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll save mine for
Good
next
job,
week.
Rob. Bringing the ghost story to it. So I guess we should officially get into today's show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
sure.
think. Yeah.
Download this.
Download
Download
this.
where we tell people what we've watched, streamed, maybe played this week, and checked out. And as always, the guest Rob, you always start, man. Have you watched anything lately? Checked out anything?
Well, I mean, there was something that we're not going to talk about the movie.
Not yet.
Not yet. Aside from the movie,
Games, music.
the new Tool album just came out. We were talking about that before
There
we
we
started
go.
recording. It's an hour and a half long, and it is a banger.
Yeah.
It is awesome. I love it.
How often do they release albums?
It's their first one in 13 years.
Yeah,
Really?
it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. So people have been waiting a while. But I mean, Maynard has had Pussifer and A Perfect Circle, so he's been putting out stuff. It's just Tool as a group together haven't put out anything.
Yeah.
And I love it, man. I mean, there are some people that are coming out saying this is garbage, this is crap. They're not.
Well,
I don't know what they were expecting.
is it one of those things where the hype was so much that they were expecting more? Probably, yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Is that
man.
coming from a younger audience or coming from the older?
Older mostly?
Oh, really?
But it sounds like a Tool album, but it doesn't sound like a rehash either.
Right.
You know, so I don't know what the people that have complaints. I don't know what they're complaining.
It's just a
about.
loud minority, I'm sure. You know.
Perhaps, but like I said, it's an hour and a half of just every single, like, they're 4 members of the band, and they're all individually doing amazing things.
Right.
Yeah. Like,
well, they're one band that if you listen to from OPA till now, I haven't heard the new one completely yet. They've always progressively done more and more and gotten better. It's a progression from OPA to Undertow, from Undertow to Anima, from Anima to 10,000 Days. And, the Laterals came out before 10,000 Days, right? No, wait, Laterals was on the 10,000 Days record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and they just constantly, they evolved with each record to me, and that's what I've heard about the new one. That it's evolved even more, And
it's really good.
Yeah.
But I think some people are upset. Like you said beforehand, you couldn't just go out and buy the CD for $10.
Right.
Like, it's this special package with a video screen and a booklet, and it's like $40. But I've only listened to it on Spotify. I have it on Spotify. So, and then I have a friend that sent me a zip file of he actually sent it a day before the album came out. I don't know how he got it. Yeah. Well, I get a lot of promo records sent to me in zip files. So, with one P, my zip has two P's.
A poopy.
But that's just the best way to send an album online. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely going to have to listen to it in the next couple of days completely.
I would like to get the actual CD though, because that video screen and the vinyl is supposed to come out in November, and I don't know how that's going to be packaged and how much that's going to cost. But it's got to be
2 discs.
Maybe 3 or 4.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be 4 because, like I said, it's an hour and a half.
Yeah.
How much is one side of a vinyl?
Like 33 minutes.
Oh, really?
So maybe, it depends on how they want to compress it and stuff.
So worth the wait though for their 13 years.
I think so.
Yeah. And they've toured some over the years and done some tours, but like I said, now I put out new music. I know one of the guys, I believe the guitar player Adam Jones is he's quite a perfectionist.
Yeah.
And it takes him years to get ideas and do it right. Like he's like hardcore OCD perfectionist.
He's probably the one that's been holding it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
A couple of friends of mine met him at San Diego Comic-Con. They of course they posted a picture on Instagram and they said, "Hey, we're from Houston. When are we going to see you?" And he just said October. So, and then they announced the tour dates, and he's going to be in Houston in October.
Nice.
And tickets for that go on sale on September 6th.
Yeah.
And that's going to be when I'm in the middle of the woods with no cell phone service.
Right.
So I'm hoping that one of my friends gets a ticket for me.
Right. I've seen him live like 3 times. Once in the 3rd row at the Woodlands, and that was quite an experience to see him sitting up that close.
Wow.
So and but Tool, good stuff.
Yeah.
Tool 2 weeks in a row on the show. It was last week. Sam, listening to the Tool catalog is down to this. So what do you guys watched or streamed or checked out this week?
I wasn't on the episode last week, so I listened to last week's episode, and then I watched American Werewolf.
What'd you
in
think?
London. I liked it.
Yeah.
And I have to agree with Lindsay's grading. I think that because it's a horror movie and what it accomplished, there's some unnecessary stuff in there. Yeah, I get that, but it won an Oscar for makeup, and you gotta give it props for being a horror movie and making it that far.
So, what was your reaction when you were watching that open field scene when they were walking through the open field?
That was
night?
creepy. It still holds up.
Yeah.
like this wolf looks pretty. Even though you don't see all
a
of it.
very big dog.
Yeah.
That's what they're. Yeah.
It's a big dog.
Yeah.
It's like a mastiff or something.
Yeah.
But it holds up really well. And then I had to watch a movie to get a free. Vudu had a thing where you get a free movie credit if you watch a certain it's like superhero rentals or the free superhero movies. So I was like, you know what? I haven't seen Nick Cage portray Ghost Rider in a while. So I'm gonna see Eva.
Dude, it's awesome.
Yeah. It's I kind of like
the first
him.
one or the second Ghost Rider?
The first one.
Those
not
video
Straight Away.
credits, you literally only have to watch 10 seconds so you'll get the coupon.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I've done it before.
Well,
Because I've gotten the $2 credits before too.
I watched Ghost Rider. Cool.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know.
I like those movies.
Yeah, dude, you got Eva Mendes in there, Peter Fonda, Sam Elliott.
Well, the second one, he pisses fire.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
That's it.
I kept on playing Fire Emblem. I told myself I need to focus on this game before I went to the Fist of the North Star game.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was browsing Netflix and I saw Chappelle's stand up.
Oh yeah.
And I watched it and it was very good.
I wanted to watch it.
It's very good. It's controversial, but I like my comedy a little controversial. I've always grew up on Carlin, and Pryor and Eddie Murphy.
It's one big party.
Well,
one big club.
Chappelle is starting to kind of change his image. Have you noticed that? He's going from the smoking pot boy to more like edgy comedy, and he appeared in A Star Is Born in a serious role.
Yeah.
So he's starting to, I think, as he gets older, trying to change his image a little bit. He's still funny.
I love how multi-layered his humor is.
Yeah, he's starting to be more mature as he gets older.
Yeah, I mean, he's always been like that, though. His stand-up has always been multi-layered. Like, his solution to gun control is just brilliant because it attacks issues on so many levels. He says, all right, black people, I have the perfect solution for gun control. All we have to do is all of us, we have to start registering for for our guns. And then that will get the white people to start the legislation on gun control. And all these black people it's like, okay, that's attacking racism, that's attacking gun control.
Nothing's off limits.
Yeah.
That's how I like my comedy too.
Yeah, of course, the alt-right folks are, picking and choosing the jokes they like, and they're saying, Chappelle's on our side, blah, 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 and,
it's just a comedy special, people.
I know.
Just enjoy it for what it is.
It's a comedy. Of course, the far left is like, I can't believe, But, man, he was talking about...
I saw a little clip. He did one where he's like, here's my impression. I have a couple impressions.
Yeah.
And it was something about how...
He was, Duh.
Yeah.
I'm going to remember what you say. Duh. From 13 years from now. Duh.
And then I'm going to use it against you.
I'm going to use it against you. Duh.
Who's that impersonation? And they're like, Trump. And he's like, it's y'all.
He was pointing at the audience.
He's like, because y'all make it hard to do comedy. I can say something and then y'all are going to turn it against me. And then what? To your point, what just happened? Everyone's like, and you repurpose it for their own stuff.
Yeah, it's basically him attacking the thought police, basically.
Yeah, I like that one. I was like, that's pretty cool.
And this,
Sticks and Stones was appropriate.
That's the name of the of the special, and I highly recommend it. It's I mean, there's a segment of his routine that he was talking about. The LG.
The L's and the B's and the T's.
LGBTQ community, and he put it in a brilliant metaphor.
Yeah.
And you guys just have to listen to it. I
think that's the one that started the most controversy. It was
the Michael Jackson.
Well, you think that was that one?
Thing? That was the one that's the most controversial thing. Where I forget what he was saying, but
Yeah, I saw something on both of them, but I need to watch it.
Yeah,
Definitely
watch it. I highly recommend it. It's only about an hour long, So
not bad.
Yeah, and for me personally, I mean, there are issues that need to be tackled, social stuff, and they do need to be addressed. But sometimes we can't just,
Remember whenever we had Dana Carvey and he would always make fun of H.W. Bush and stuff? It's you need to get back to that where you can just make fun of everybody all the time without getting repercussions.
Yeah.
It's like, and he's like, you're really good at making fun of me. Come over to my house.
Sensitive now.
I know, right?
I mean, it's like it's natural for a nation that hasn't experienced invasions or any kind of conflict, or I don't know, maybe the super volcano eruption in Yellowstone will probably put things back to people worrying about real issues.
Mm-hmm. Gosh. Just when that happens,
all of our first world problems will disappear.
Yeah.
And a whole new set of problems will come up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like, it is what it is. It's just, when we've become complacent, issues that don't seem important are all of a sudden like monumentally a crisis. So, Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah. So how about you, Mark?
I've had such a busy week with the kids starting school and football practice. I haven't watched a lot. I watched a couple more episodes of The Boys. Man, it's actually really good.
I saw the first 2 episodes. Finally,
it starts out a little slow, but you get to like the 4th episode, and it just starts really picking up.
I don't know. From what
I watched the whole thing.
Dude,
You watched the whole thing?
Carl Urban is so good in it.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for him, I don't know if I could keep watching it because enough of the other characters aren't interesting enough to me. But Carl Urban is so awesome.
You know who he looks like? Gerard Butler a little bit in that movie. I kind of get that from
really.
him, like Ugly Truth, Gerard
You're just
Butler.
thinking because he's doing the accent.
Maybe it's the Scottish
But
accent.
nah, he's his own guy, and I think if it wasn't for Urban being so badass,
He's using his New Zealand accent.
yeah, I don't know if I would keep up with it, but he's so good in it. He makes the show work, and because the superheroes are all such assholes in it, you don't give a fuck about any of them. But Urban just makes the show work on
Except
so many
for Starlight.
levels. Well, yeah, I mean even her, but even her, you're kind of like, yeah, you know.
Well, here's the thing, though. I mean, I saw the first 2 episodes, and I still have zero desire to keep watching it because, from what I've been told from my coworker who loves the show, and I was like, okay, so everyone's an asshole. Even the lead character becomes a really big asshole. You know, not Carl Urban, but the really mousy guy. Yeah, I'm like, I can't take much nihilism anymore.
Well, I mean, it is written by Garth Ennis.
Yeah, I know.
Pretty
I can't-
nihilistic.
it's like-
Did you enjoy Spaceballs?
Yeah.
Darth Helmet was surrounded by assholes in that one.
Well, you know what I mean. Like, you know what I mean, right? Like,
Yeah,
it's
I'm poking fun at you.
Yeah, I know you are, and I'm ignoring it.
Darn you.
So I'm trying to get back on track. But anyways, it's like I can't stand. It's like, okay, this is too depressing, too dark, and it's like,
It's only 8 episodes.
I'm
so
gonna watch
sure I'll
porn
finish
now.
it,
Yeah, porno. Hey, a couple of those
makes
episodes
me
looks
feel
like
good.
they had
It's the
some
one.
porn
It's
scenes
the
in
one
it.
movies that never let you down.
Yeah.
Well, they did announce that they did renew it for 2nd season.
Yeah. It's already in mid-production.
Oh, is it?
Mid-production?
Well, then there you
Yeah,
go.
Carl Urban went on his Instagram and showed that, hey, season 2, I'm on set. You know. So,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to finish that up.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell me what you guys think at the end of the
Yeah.
season.
I will finish it.
I liked it.
How about Dark Crystal? I know it's out this
Oh
weekend.
yeah.
It came out
y'all
last
see
night,
it?
huh?
Last
Did it?
night.
Yeah.
The new Dark Crystal.
Any of y'all seen it?
I haven't.
yet.
No.
I
I
knew
don't
we were gonna talk
remember.
about
I
it.
don't remember the original. The
Yeah.
original
Right.
movie.
Yeah.
It was a movie, right?
Yeah.
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 All
So-
puppets too. I think.
It's a prequel to that movie, so I guess you don't need to watch the movie to know what's going on. But from what I've been told, it ramps up the violence.
Yeah.
You know.
nice.
And,
Yeah.
hopefully, the speed, because I think I mentioned on the show before, I recently tried to rewatch the original film. The original film is so slow when you watch it now.
Yeah.
As a kid, I remember loving it, but now I'm like, God, this is kind of boring. You know, and because they spent so much money and work on the puppets that I think other parts of the film suffered. So, but now they have the budgets and the money and the special effects to make it, to up the ante a little
Yeah.
bit and hopefully more action in it and stuff.
As a side note to stuff that's being released, the Joker movie's been getting some really good reviews.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the new trailer
Yeah.
dropped.
Yeah.
I haven't actually seen it.
Some
the new trailer.
like right now, I know you don't care about Metacritic, but right now it's sitting around 80%. You know. So,
But have they seen the film? The film doesn't come out until what, October?
Next
It's
week?
playing film festivals.
yeah.
Oh,
Well, it
is
comes
it?
out in October, the film. But
Yeah, early
it's
next
they're
week.
they're taking it to film festivals.
Oh,
so I guess it's
October.
really-
I keep thinking
Yeah.
next
Next
month
week,
is
September.
October.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's not even September yet.
Yeah.
Actually, it's September here in about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Nice.
Officially.
Officially.
So, well, I've got the Joker trailer attached to news, so we'll talk a little bit of Joker here in a little bit, what we think about it. But let's get into the feature film. You know, that's what we do on the Rebel Radio Show now. We talk a retrospective on a feature film, and we're going way back. It's not the oldest movie we did, because the oldest movie we did was a few dollars more a couple weeks ago,
Yeah,
right?
a few dollars
No,
more.
this is older than that.
I thought
Yeah.
a few dollars more is 54.
No,
Wasn't
it
it?
was in the 60s.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. So this might be the oldest film
This
we've
is
done then.
52.
1956.
56, yeah.
Forbidden Planet. Yeah, this is a all-time classic. It inspired Gene Roddenberry and George Lucas to do what they did with Star Trek and
and
Star
John
Wars.
Carpenter.
Yes, and John Carpenter. Highly influential movie, and you see it on screen. And so, when was the first time y'all have seen this film?
Yesterday.
It was the first time I ever watched it, really.
I watched it twice
Yeah. Oh, yeah? How-
because it was so slow. I
little slow.
I had a hard time. Like, wait, what happened? It's over? What?
It's slow but quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
it's
So
an hour and a half. I can't
Yeah.
believe it.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. So yeah, I watched it twice last night, and I still, I'm still questioning some of the stuff. So hopefully, talking with you guys about it.
Yeah. Who wants to summarize the plot?
Because, like you said, it is one of those classic films, and I'm glad that
Different
you
style.
encouraged me to watch it, even though I had to pay like $3.24 to Amazon. I looked on the app on IMDb, and I was like, "Oh, this one," making sure
It shows it's on Prime. Yeah.
Yeah, it says $0 on Prime. I'm like, "Oh, sweet." And then I go home, and I'm like, $2.99. What?
Yeah.
Come on.
That's what Voodoo's price was, too. I got on Voodoo because I was like, I'm going to have to pay either way.
I know it's probably the first time you ever saw it.
It was the first time. And I didn't watch it until this morning.
Same here.
Yeah.
Same here.
Nice.
But I've seen bits and pieces of the movie, though.
Yeah?
But today was the first time I've actually sat down and watched it from beginning to end.
Nice.
Yeah. But who wants to summarize it?
Matt, since you just watched it today,
Sure.
give it a quick summary.
So it's about a crew that is searching for another crew that was lost 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And they find them, and looks like this old crew has adapted this high-tech alien hardware, and they're living in luxury. And he's got a daughter, I guess, that his wife gave birth
Morbius.
before.
Well, you say the crew, but they find
Morbius,
Yeah.
Morbius and his daughter.
Yeah.
And the rest of the crew is dead. Morbius doesn't want to leave with them, and
The rest of the original 20-year crew was
Yeah.
dead. Yeah.
which is crazy because it took them 20 years to find this one person. He's like, "Oh, I'm good here. Yeah, just keep going."
Yeah.
But they insist because his daughter's hot, and apparently wears very provocative clothing. Apparently,
or none.
or none, or no clothing, and there's an evil mind monster that is part of Morbius's subconscious that accumulates based on his feelings, and at the end he blows everything up, and they get away, and Leslie Nielsen's like, "Yeah, I get to bang your daughter now." Great.
Yes, Lieutenant Drebin of Police Squad
Yeah.
And that was the first.
wins the girl.
Don't call him Shirley.
Yeah.
Well, I had seen this movie years ago, but rewatching it now is almost like watching the first time because I don't really remember retaining any of it. But that's the first thing I noticed about this movie was like being as 1956 is. Well, the first thing I noticed is the really, really wonderful special effects for the time when the whole ship is landing at the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
It's a flying saucer,
some
too.
fantastic work done on the film, and
The humans are flying a flying saucer,
and-
which is not typical.
Yeah.
Right. In a Universal picture, Universal is still one of the best
No, it's
companies.
MGM.
MGM.
Is it MGM? MGM and Universal are the two best companies.
At that
it seems
time.
at maintaining their films over the years. Like they made sure
It's very good quality.
Yeah, they made sure to
Not
keep
as
their
good as
old
Disney.
films up to date, and it's a fantastic transfer, the high definition transfer of this film, and the first thing I noticed when they get off the ship and they see his daughter, it's like. Their eyes light up like, oh yeah, what's up? And it's like, wow, this is really
They haven't seen a woman in
weirdly
a year.
perverted for the time.
Yeah.
And they make it no shame about it. And this film is rated G.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really interesting.
A lot of
There's
innuendo in that.
Yeah,
first.
lots of
Yeah.
innuendo,
Yeah.
and there was no way it'd be rated G if it came out today.
No.
But those for the first two things I noticed watching it, I was like, wow, they.
Well, MGM, I believe, was controlled by Fox, so now it's part of Disney.
Yeah.
So
So she's a Disney princess?
And MGM was known. MGM was very known for doing a lot of these
Musicals.
musicals and kind of B sci-fi movies.
Yeah.
And sci-fi movies weren't taken seriously yet.
Mm-mm.
And this was one of the first movies that was given a large budget and to show they could be serious.
a huge chunk of the budget went to making Robbie the Robot, who
That makes sense.
Robbie the Robot has been in so many things, but
Yeah.
this was the first thing that he ever appeared in.
Right.
And they used all kinds of random things, but you talk about it being an influence to Lucas and Roddenberry and even Kubrick is how they used all these different parts to make him. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's amazing that he if you look at the robot is the biggest part of the poster.
Yeah.
And he's holding the woman in peril, even though that never happened.
Yeah, it never happened at all.
That was a very common thing for movie poster artists back then. They would be told to draw these posters, and they hadn't seen the movie yet, so they just kind of came up with an idea. And a lot of them had real common themes like that. Even the Hammer horror films, a lot of times, like if you look at the old Mummy picture, the Mummy never glows in the fucking movie, but on the poster, the Mummy's glowing because they just went with what they had to work with from the producers and to draw these posters. But at the same time, those poster art back then is remarkable. You don't even now it's Photoshop and floating heads and the posters are a lost art now in some ways.
You know, what really impressed me the most when I first watched it this morning was I was expecting, like, Forbidden Planet, the title sequence, and then, like, a saucer on a string just going across. But no, it was like, damn, they're showing a eclipse in the backdrop of a planet in the eclipse, and the flying saucer's flying through, like, wow, that's pretty cinematic for an old movie. And I'm like, and if you watch the first opening shot of Alien, it's like almost the same exact recreation of that shot too. I'm like, wow, I guess Ridley Scott's influenced by this in some way too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm like, I'm surprised how cinematic they shot the flying saucer and how it landed and the optical effects.
I mean, this was a Hollywood blockbuster film. You know,
Yeah.
It was a big budget summer movie.
Yeah.
You know, with your main star Leslie Nielsen getting the girl at the end, and you had the robot and the evil doctor and the rotoscoped like
Id.
yeah
Id.
well yeah
Yeah.
but it was cool. I really liked, you know, when they were shooting the laser blasts and they had this monster. You could definitely tell it was animation that they laid on top of it, but I mean, that's a tough technique to do.
Especially then, yeah.
Actually, I found out. I was watching a documentary on it. They were saying that the animator was loaned from Disney and hired by
Makes
MGM,
sense.
and he drew it all on paper first, and then he had a camera film the flip of the paper, and he said that was the first time he never used cells. Like transparent cells.
Yeah.
He's always used transparent cells in all of his career, but so they filmed the animation on paper as is, and then they inverted the film stock to polarize the image of the monster. So they used some kind of camera trick to make the monster appear on screen. They didn't use any cell animation at all.
I would think they would, because it would be easier to just take the film and then add the cell on top of it.
But they didn't. Yeah, it's weird. It's like, wow. I mean, I can't believe they did it without the transparent cells.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
But it looks really good for the time, and it holds up really well. And that's another thing I liked about this film is it does have this very cinematic. I mean, it is a cinematic film, but it feels that way even for an old movie. Every shot is. Considering they used basically maybe 5 or 6 sets for this film, but it's all shot really kind of epic feeling. The cinematographer, I thought, did a good job. Not a lot of up closes. He would pull the camera back and let you see what was going on. The set design was really well done. Everything looked good. The guns looked good. They looked like laser guns.
The practical effects.
The costumes, the practical effects. Yeah, it's something. There's a certain charm to these old movies like that. That you get those practical effects that you don't always get nowadays with some of these movies, and I think that's why it does work on so many levels. Is because if I was a kid in 1956 watching this, I know I would have loved this because you felt like you were a part of this world. You were in the science fiction world, and this is one of those movies that I think reminds me watching it. This is why I like science fiction, because you can escape to another world to see something you can't see here on Earth. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Actually, a lot of the folks who were interviewed in the documentary, one of them was special effects, John Dextra from Star Wars.
Okay.
He's the guy who directed all the major effects of all the classic Star Wars movies. He said that at that time, as a kid, when he was watching The Forbidden Planet, he was saying, "Why are you yawning? God dang." Anyways. No, he was saying that as a kid, even during the 50s, he said that Dracula was just a man in a cape. That stuff didn't scare him. But when he saw the id monster attacking, the invisible monster, and he was like, whoa, that's freaky. And I love the practical effect of the invisible footsteps in the sand.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That was cool.
And then they make the mold of the foot.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Claw.
Yeah.
White Claw.
Yeah.
Ain't no laws.
But
Let's talk about the problems.
the problems. It's based off of The Tempest, I guess.
Oh, that's not the problem. but
Loosely.
It's pretty cool that it's based on
Prospero, who is
Morbius.
Morbius. Prospero was condemned to an island by himself where he embraces wizardry, and he conjures up a magical spirit who attacks people at his will. And at the end, he renounces magic and breaks his staff, burns his books. Yep.
Yep.
He kills the monster by exploding everything, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. The twist in this film is Morbius didn't renounce the science,
Scientist,
but
Scientology.
he came to the realization that he's a human being all along.
Yeah.
That he was like flawed, and accepts the fact that it was his fault that the monster was created.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of cool.
And then he dies.
And then he dies.
Yeah.
So you don't really see him die, do you?
Not
You know?
really.
Yeah, he dies.
Yeah.
He falls over. Yeah, you do see him die.
Yeah. Yeah, they just seem to cut away from his death, it seemed like.
Yeah, and no one looks at the camera in this movie.
No.
They're all looking at each other, and it's like side view. Side view.
Well,
Right.
why would they look at the camera? They're not Deadpool.
It's true. That's a good point. No Ryan Reynolds.
Some of the stuff one of the things that I had a problem with, and I know it's a sign of the times, is when the first lieutenant was like hitting on the girl.
Oh, yeah.
And always just kissing on her.
Yeah, he's like,
You
oh, it's
know?
for your health.
It's for your health.
Yeah, you'll be
Yeah, it
in
makes you feel
tip-top
better.
shape.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's
There's a tongue in there.
And she's like, I don't feel anything.
He's like, oh, you got to keep going at it.
Yeah.
You got to put your hands in my butt. Yeah.
Yeah. It was so weird awkward watching all that, though.
Yeah.
He was like, here, let's hug and kiss.
And then Leslie's like, they're only acting that way because of the way you dress, young lady.
He ends up with the girl.
Yeah. She's like, I like this guy talking to me. I have daddy issues. So you being like my father, that makes me attracted to you.
Yeah.
But Anne Francis had it going on back then.
She
though.
did.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
First woman to ever wear a miniskirt on screen. And it's funny, after I read that...
In this movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Really?
Yeah, you can't help... You start noticing once you read that she keeps, like, when she's running, she grabs at it to make sure it's not flying up. She does it, like, 3 times to make sure the skirt stays
I never
down.
noticed that.
Yeah.
That's funny. So we have her to thank for the miniskirt.
Yeah,
movies,
and
apparently.
it's still a few years ahead of the '60s too.
Mm-hmm.
The '60s is when they started
Really started coming into films.
Yeah, but and a few years later, the miniskirts. Yeah,
Well, and then like there's the scene where she's swimming around naked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
she was wearing a flesh-colored dress.
Yeah,
basically.
right,
Yeah.
right. Of course.
That's why. Because I was like, I can't see anything, but it looks like she's nude.
Yeah.
I'm wondering how... And then she's getting out, and I'm like, she's wearing something.
Did you see my text about her?
Yes.
Her big forehead.
Forehead. Yeah, she got the 5 head.
And also the first movie to ever have a electronically instrument soundtrack, too. Which was interesting.
It was an annoying
Keyboard.
soundtrack.
Electronic
to be quite
instruments.
honest. I know it's a gimmick and novelty, but
A lot of sci-fi movies then.
Very
yeah.
Twilight Zone-ish.
but it's like, woo! It's like, oh god, please turn this off. I can't stand his music. Well, anyways, that's just me though.
I mean, did they use a theremin at all?
I don't know. I just read it was electronic instruments
Man,
and stuff. Yeah.
A theremin to me is like the peak, like
I don't think it
sci-fi
was.
instrument.
Yeah.
You know.
I think the theremin came in the late 50s, early 60s.
No, the theremin came in like the 20s or something.
Oh, was it that old?
Maybe.
Really?
I could be wrong, but
Yeah.
it was the. There's an interesting history behind the theremin, and that's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah.
But Robbie the Robot, though, I think that is what I took away from this film the most. And like Rob said, it's been used in several things. It appeared actually Robbie the Robot appeared in the Twilight Zone, as you just mentioned. It's appeared in several other TV shows, other movies over the years. It's not always called Robbie the Robot, but that design has been used. A lot of kids, that was their first space toy, was Robbie the Robot. It was turned into toys and stuff. Gene Roddenberry, like you said earlier, him and Lucas, they were influenced by the robots and stuff to put robots in their films. George Lucas said that he never thought about writing a movie that had droids in it until he watched this movie. He's like, hey, it's a good idea to put robots into a film.
1920. the theremin was invented.
And he's cool, man. Whenever he's like, yeah, I want the good stuff. Like, what is the good stuff? And he's like this, and he's like, he drinks it. Hey, man. I'm gonna
Robbie, the robot.
You know, the cook.
The cook. Okay.
And then he was like, "Would 60 gallons suffice?"
Yeah,
He's like, 60 gallons.
And but it's remarkable special effect though for 1956, just to bring a robot to life, and it shows you that how good this still looks in this movie compared to nowadays Pacific Rim movies like that where the robots are CGI'd, you know, and this almost looks better in some ways, and it's an old movie than it does with computer graphics, you know.
Yeah, I kind of noticed his buttons kept going up and down, you know, at the bottom of his panel.
Really well done.
Yeah.
In fact, the director of this film kept the robot. It's still in his family's heirlooms, I guess, to this day.
No, I thought it was in a museum. Like it went into
maybe it was finally donated.
It went into disrepair.
Yeah,
because I was looking on Wikipedia and read about Robbie the robot, and it, of course, I don't remember all of it, but yeah, it like people were like picking parts off of it and stuff, and somebody who had recreated Robbie actually got the original Robbie and was able to bring him back to tip-top shape. But yeah, I think he's in a museum in Seattle.
Okay.
There's like a science fiction museum there.
Probably.
I think that's where he lives.
Probably the EMP Museum, maybe. Which actually has changed names since then. That's like a sci-fi pop culture type museum.
Yeah, I was there 2 years ago. I have to look through all my photos to see if it's in there.
Yeah.
Another problem I had with the film, the exposition. A lot of exposition in the middle. But, you know, they were just telling about the alien race that used to be there. And they were showing some of the advanced technology.
The Krell?
The Krell.
The Krell, that's a lot. That's. I mean, did Marvel get some inspiration there?
Yeah, I'm wondering. That's a cool name, and you would think they'd had to scrolls or something like that.
Yeah, and I do like how they kind of hinted that the Krell had a different biology. You know, like the doorways are wide and kind of stout. And then the electronic devices didn't fit the human heads very well at all, you know, and they were kind of extra wide. But really, that's not a big. It's just a nitpick, really, and those are really the only flaws.
I kind of wondered at some point if there might have been a version of this script where we saw the Krell in some sort of scenes, but because the movie was already almost a $2 million movie, which was a ton of money back then. But for budget reasons, they may have cut some stuff. It makes you wonder so instead they tell the story through exposition. But it seems like if you're trying to do a big budget sci-fi movie, man, it would have been really cool to see some of that stuff, you know, in flashbacks or whatever. But they had to do it through telling the stories, and that would have been neat to see. But the movie did well. It cost $2 million, but it made almost $8 million.
Wow,
which was a lot of money back then. So it tripled its money at the box office.
Wow.
So it did very well. Yeah.
I didn't realize it made that much.
Yeah. But you got to think it probably played in theaters for 10 years. You know, I mean,
probably.
It was much different times then. Movies would re-release over and over again for years and years and years.
Played for 2 years.
Because you maybe had 20
staggered
films.
release.
Yeah, you maybe had films you maybe had 20 movies a year come out compared to 200 now. You know, so the movies could play in theaters for months at a time. They could come out staggered over many years. Go see the motion picture event again in summer of 1958, 2 years later.
Yeah, because some theaters, back then, distribution of film was, they didn't play at the same time. It was just a rolling release.
Yeah. Especially small towns. If you lived in a big city like Houston or New York or Chicago, they might have had copies of the films. But if you lived in a small town, you had to wait for that movie to come to your local little theater.
Like
single theater.
The actual film would go on tour.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And that's a thing that repertory theaters have kind of brought back out.
It was color. It was color.
Yeah.
You know, in the 50s, not every film was in color.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the original Godzilla. That was 2 years earlier, and that was in black and white.
Yeah, and this was actually. It's almost amazing this wasn't shot in black and white, but I guess they wanted to spend the money and allow for the budget to be in color.
Is it technically Technicolor, or is it color?
No, this was shot in color. Yeah,
it wasn't.
I looked at the credits at the end to make sure it didn't say Technicolor or anything like that. This wasn't shot in black and white and colored in later. This was actually shot in color. Yeah, because I was curious about that too.
Yeah.
But no, this was shot in color.
Okay, so what about favorite scenes? You guys got any? Mine's the obvious one, the scene where they're fighting off the id with their blasters.
Yeah, that's a good scene.
I like how they build it up from like they doing a test shot, and then they detected it on the radar, and then they fired it off to keep it away. And
A lot
then
of
it got
suspense in
closer
that
and closer.
scene too.
Yeah, love the suspense of that scene.
It's like, why are these guys running right up to it?
Yeah, and they're like, Donnie, what are you doing? He runs up to get a
Gets
closer
caught by the
shot.
monster. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, what are you doing, Donnie?
And the suspense at the end too, when he was going through the indestructible doors.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that scene.
It looked like whenever Qui-Gon Jinn took his lightsaber and just started putting it into the blast doors, and it's starting to go through. Door was turning red, and then it started looking like it was turning into like molten metal and falling off.
Yeah, this movie did do a good job of setting up little details.
Yeah.
You know, from beginning to end, like they set up plant the little seed about, you know, the blast doors on the house, you know, to make you remember the special effect, and then the indestructibility of the doors in the Krell center.
And it's well acted, and they did that on purpose. When they came to the set, the
main actors are well acted. The other actors
there's
kind
a
of
thing.
wooden.
Yeah.
Like Leslie Nelson and the other actors were like, well, how do you want us to read this stuff? Because at that point, science fiction was still kind of schlocky and silly.
Yeah.
And the director told them, no, take it seriously. We want this to be serious. So they decided to film this like they were doing a drama film. So it is well acted compared to a lot of sci-fi movies that weren't well acted at that time.
Do you think they told them this is loosely based on Shakespeare? So
I wonder if they did, so they would take it more seriously.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Like, because Walter Pidgeon is a theater actor first and foremost, and I'm sure he recognized.
That was Dr. Morbius.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sure. Yeah. I'm sorry. Walter Pidgeon as Dr. Morbius. Yeah, and I'm sure he sensed a lot of the DNA within the script about that.
Yeah.
The Tempest. So yeah.
So yeah, I think that's my favorite scene too.
Yeah.
It's the attack scene. It's the most exciting. It's the whole movie is built up to that scene.
Yeah,
So the
yeah.
suspense makes it worth it, and the payoff is there. So it's a good scene. Yeah.
I kind of like the alcohol one. He's just like, you don't know what you've done for me. and he's like, hey, can I go for a walk?
But then that allows the other guy to get killed.
Yeah, allows the other guy to get killed. But I just think it's funny that he's got he just loves alcohol, and he's like, oh, this is real bourbon. This is real bourbon right here.
That would be
And then
my
he
favorite
drinks
scene.
it, and he's like, it burns the hell out of him.
And he's like smooth.
Yeah.
When that one dude died during the main attack scene, it was the first person to hit on the Anne.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, that took care of that story.
Yep.
Conflict. No more love triangle.
For me, it was when they land, and they're like, "What's that? What's that dust?" And you see the dust moving like a dust storm, and then all of a sudden you see the car drive up with Robbie in front, and then it opens up, and then he steps out, and that's the first time anyone sees Robbie the robot. And you see, his little thing spin, and his clacker's clacking, and he's talking. He's got the video screen, and that had to blow people away when they first saw that.
And when I was watching it, that was my first thought, was like, this is the George Lucas influence. Like, when the Star Destroyer
like a
comes
land
over the
speeder.
top, and the first person you see is Darth Vader, it's amazing. And I could see a young George Lucas sitting down watching this, and that had to have influenced.
Well,
with
yeah.
the flying saucer coming in and seeing the robot.
Well, and even the vehicle looked like a land speeder.
Yeah. So, I mean, you
With
definitely
those
see
two domes in front.
you definitely see the inspiration there, and where George took from this movie as one of his favorite childhood films.
That might have been laying around. He might have used that.
Yeah, it's true. He might have.
Because some of that stuff laid around forever in like old sound stages and stuff.
Yeah.
And
This was shot on the same soundstage that they did Wizard of Oz. And the garden was even reused. The Munchkin garden was reused for this film, for the garden. So who knows how many other things sat around, like you said, and they used from the
that
set
was
of other
what,
films.
1929?
Yeah.
So
It's almost 30 years later,
Yeah.
and they shot this film. Yeah.
What was?
Wizard of Oz.
No, it was 1939.
1939.
Yeah.
Okay.
So almost 20 years later.
Yeah. Same
Yeah.
difference, yeah.
Yeah, that's remarkable. Now it's use and destroy, and we'll just build more.
Saves money.
Yeah. You know, but
Well, time
But
to score it, huh?
I think this film still holds up really well for almost almost 70-year-old film. It's getting there, and I think I give it an A-. I think it is a little slow pace compared to today's films, but I think you have to watch this and put yourself like I said, as a young kid in 1956, and think, wow, this is really cool. My two boys watched it with me, and they actually really liked it.
Really?
And they're 10 and 4, and they're paying attention to it.
Man.
So it does something right if they're watching it.
What was their reaction on the attack scene of the Ed?
They just thought it was cool. They were sitting there watching it like, oh, this is cool. And Wyatt's like, oh, Dad, they're going to get the monster.
Yeah.
So, it was cool.
That's cool. It's always fun to hear kids' reactions to something they haven't seen.
So I think that says something about a movie that this old, if it can get the attention of young kids.
Yeah.
I give it an A. For sure, because it's such a historically important film for science fiction in general, and it holds up mostly, you know. But yeah,
I think it's definitely at least a B plus.
there you go.
I think that's very fair.
B for B movie.
B for B movie, but B plus because of Shirley. Shirley's in there.
Yeah. Don't call him Shirley.
Don't call him Shirley.
I'd give it an A-, and I'd just give the minus just because there were some parts that were just really slow, you know.
Yeah.
Which, you know, you talked about they were given the exposition to explain when they could have shown, you know, the scenes.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah, and what they have shown is pretty amazing to look at. Like, 7,800 floors.
yeah,
It's like, dang, 20 miles each way. Like, okay, wow. He spent 20 years exploring that.
Yeah.
So,
But a remarkable film for its time. So if you're listening, you've never seen Forbidden Planet, check it out, because it's one of those films I would probably say on your list that you should see. You know, especially if you're into science fiction and stuff like that.
oh
Definitely.
yeah.
So for sure.
this makes me wish I had I have like about the same size screen as you. Maybe mine might be smaller. But I don't have a 4K TV or an 8K TV.
Yeah,
I don't either.
But you know, it makes me wish I had one for stuff like this. You know, like things like this need to be seen on a biggest screen as possible.
Yeah.
I think. You know, sci-fi. I mean, it's made like you're seeing a landscape of a world. And when you see that with your own eyes, you're not looking at it in a picture. When you see just a picture, it doesn't... Like when you see people's vacation pictures of the Grand Canyon, you're like, oh, that looks cool. It's a big hole in the ground. But when you actually go there...
See the scope of it.
Yeah, it's amazing. But like, if you have a giant screen, you can kind of... It's easier to put yourself there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I could see why this film quadrupled its budget in the theater back in the 50s, because I would want to go see it.
Yeah, escape to that world, get away from everyday life.
Like, oh, it's a forbidden planet? Ooh, I gotta go there.
Right. I think that's a good way to end the Forbidden Planet talk.
Yeah.
And get into some other stuff. Well, we usually do news. We kind of have a sub-feature today. I forgot to tell Rob about this, so Rob's just going to go with the flow here.
Yeah.
But it's Labor Day weekend, so it's time to preview the fall movies that are coming out. And so we're going to run down some movies that are coming out this fall, what we're looking forward to before we get into some news. And Long, you want to kick it off, man? What's coming out in September? Besides It Chapter 2, because I have no desire to see it.
Besides It
sucked.
Chapter 2, I'm actually more focused on October because I don't recall anything in September.
Other than
that's
It in
coming
September,
out.
and I just have no interest to see it.
Yeah.
I didn't think the first one was good enough for me to warrant spending 2 hours to watch the second
I know
one.
the Joker movie's coming out early October, and that's been getting some rave reviews online right now. And this is no release date attached, but I know a bunch of animation movies are coming out. I know Frozen 2's coming out this season, of course.
The Addams Family. I actually kind of want to see the Addams Family.
yeah.
It actually looks pretty good for an animated film.
Yeah. Addams Family is coming out for families. So, yeah, if you need that information. Maleficent 2. God, there's a lot of sequels coming out in there. Yeah. And I was going on text and saying, don't mention too many sequels. Yeah. But all of the major releases are sequels. Ad Astra's coming out in September.
Yeah, with
Brad Pitt. Which I'll wait and see for the reviews on that one. Yeah. It's a space exploration movie, I think.
Mm-hmm.
What?
I know that I am looking forward to The Irishman on Netflix. I am really looking forward to that. Oh, what? Rambo?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Rambo the Last Blood. Last Blood.
It's coming out, isn't it?
The R-rated Home Alone movie.
Yes. R-rated Home Alone.
Yeah, R-rated Home Alone. Yeah, and I don't know. Have you guys heard about the new Schwarzenegger and Jackie Chan movie coming out yet?
I thought it was a Stallone and...
No, it's Schwarzenegger.
It's Schwarzenegger and Jackie Chan?
Yeah, and Jackie Chan. Oh, I want to see those two on film. I don't care how bad the movie is. I just want to see those two on film. Two of my heroes. But I know Schwarzenegger plays a Swiss soldier from like the 1850s or something. And then he has to team up with Jackie Chan. It's for some kind of action flick.
Have you heard about the Alien documentary, Memory?
Oh, yeah, I saw that trailer.
That's supposed to be coming out. I mean, it's probably like an art house type thing, being a documentary. But yeah it's getting rave reviews. The making of it.
I don't know if it's going to be as good as the anthology documentary that was 2 hours.
Right, which is really good.
Yeah. That was pretty in-depth.
I mean, I think the obvious big one that's coming out this fall is obviously The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the biggest.
That's in winter.
Yeah.
What about Ford versus Ferrari in November?
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing that.
There we go.
Yeah.
Cats.
Huh?
Cats.
There you go, cats.
With the creepy nude cats. This came up on last week's show too. We're like, oh, they're creepy naked cats.
They are.
A Day in the Neighborhood is coming out in November.
Yeah.
Yeah, which looks really amazing, but like, I don't see Mr. Rogers. I see Tom Hanks. It's because he's such a popular actor.
Yeah.
It's hard not to see him. And when you play a historical person, like when you watch Rami Malek play Freddie Mercury, you saw Freddie Mercury in him. And when you saw Joaquin Phoenix play Johnny Cash, I saw Johnny Cash. But with Tom Hanks, I don't see Mr. Rogers. I keep seeing Tom Hanks in the trailer.
I thought you were going to say Jennifer Lopez.
And maybe when the film comes out, and I see it, I'll see Mr. Rogers, but right now in the trailers, all I see is Tom Hanks. I just don't see Mr. Rogers in the trailers. Maybe that's being nitpicky, but that's just me.
Hello, neighbor.
I just think an actor should embody the spirit of the person they're playing.
Anything else? I might have missed a couple. Wow, I know we missed a lot. There's a
Antlers.
Gary Oldman in his he's going to star in a horror movie called Mary. And he buys a sailboat called Mary, and he goes on this cruise with his family, and it's a haunted sailboat. Yeah. So.
Well, right then.
Yeah. It's like, oh, Gary Oldman in a horror movie? Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Besides Dracula, which was last.
Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yeah.
Zombieland Double Tap.
Oh yeah,
Zombieland.
Yeah.
I guess.
Man.
Frozen
that seems I watched Zombieland and I never understood why it had this huge following.
Man, you don't laugh at any comedy.
No, I think it's a millennial thing, man. I just don't get I don't understand. I'm like, why is this movie considered good and fun? It's kind of stupid.
You don't like any.
But then
comedy.
again, I like Buckaroo Banzai, so what do I know? And there's people who hate that
and
movie.
2 other people like Buckaroo
I liked
Banzai.
it when it came out. I remember
you
seeing
and 3 other people.
I remember seeing it at the Dollar Theater.
Was Zombieland?
No,
Or
Buckaroo Banzai.
Yeah. I couldn't even finish that movie.
The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai.
Shit.
I don't know. That's just me. But we can get into some news. There's not a whole lot of news this week, but it involves a couple of movies that are coming out this fall. There is a new Joker trailer out this week. And I'm still... You said, it's playing film festivals. It's getting some good reviews. I'm still not completely sold on this movie. I'm like...
On IMDb, they give it's 9.0.
So you're getting a 9?
Now.
Well,
wow.
I'm a long-time Batman fan. And I always feel like the Joker... And now I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know, but it feels like they're trying to tell his origin movie.
Yeah.
I think the Joker works because we don't know his origin. He's an absolute. That's why he exists, and we don't need to know why. it's good just to know the tidbits. Like Nolan did a great job in The Dark Knight of just showing tidbits of why he's crazy.
Well, I heard that that famous line that Joker said about his origin. I like my origins to be multiple choice. I think I heard that the movie did a very good job of that.
And that's what I'm hoping that they do that, because I feel like if it's an origin story, it's why we don't need that. But I'm also curious about Joaquin Phoenix, his performance in it, and how he does with it. So I have curiosities to the film, but I also don't. I'm just trying to figure out the purpose of this movie. Like, why do we need a Joker movie? That's just being nitpicky. I don't see the point in it, because to me,
watch it, fool.
To me, great villains work because they're heroes.
Just watch it.
And without Batman in the film, I'm kind of like,
Don't judge it before you watch it.
Well, here's the thing. In all comic book and in all these stories, the villains are always the protagonists, and the heroes are the antagonists. They're trying to stop them from doing what they're doing. So, I totally get with making a villain movie and seeing how he becomes that villain. Like, you're right. There's never been like a true origin story for the Joker, and he was the first Batman villain, right? Like, this has been going on since, 80 years.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with it. Joaquin Phoenix he's a good actor.
Yeah.
And he can do Strange very well. So, this movie, and it's R-rated, so kids aren't going to be going to see it unless, their parents take them. I don't imagine.
Yeah, the way the trailers are made, it's definitely geared towards the adult movie viewer for sure. There's nothing haha.
Yeah, I don't think they try to sell it to kids. Like with the Deadpool trailers, they kind of like sold it like comic book movies, but they're definitely not kid films. Yeah.
Until they did Once Upon a Deadpool.
Yeah. And then
Disney does
but we'll see. So I'm curious about this Joker movie and see how it comes together. And it's not.
Are we going to see Robert Pattinson's Batman in it at all?
As far as I know, it's completely
set in the
disconnected.
80s.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
set
saying
in the
it's
80s.
a standalone film. So yeah.
So we might see a young Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Maybe. Okay. So when they do put them in a film together, he's going to be much older, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which he's older anyway.
Yeah.
So I guess he's playing a younger Joker now, right?
I guess, yeah. So we'll see.
But I mean, like in '89 when they had the Jack Nicholson playing the Joker, he's much older than Michael Keaton.
About 12 or 13 years older, maybe more than that, probably.
Maybe, yeah.
They're advertising Mr. Mom on Voodoo. I think it's some deal where you can rent it for cheap or something.
You ever seen Gung Ho?
No, I've never seen Gung Ho.
It's a really good movie.
Gung Ho's a good movie.
It's basically about a little tangent. It's about the car factory workers who are about to lose their jobs, and then a Japanese automaker buys the factory, and then it's like a interesting culture clash type.
Yeah. Was that
movie.
back whenever you had everyone was afraid of Japs and stuff?
Huh? The what?
Did you say Japanese?
No, it's played more for a comedy.
Oh.
Yeah. It's
It's not played as being afraid of Japanese.
It's a dramedy.
Oh, a dramedy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's good. And then so another big fall movie that's coming out got a new trailer last night, this morning, I guess. It just sort of showed up, but Terminator Dark Fate.
Yeah.
It was a much better trailer.
Much better trailer than the first trailer.
Yeah.
This movie looks really kind of good now. In the first trailer, I was kind of like, another Terminator. But now I'm like, well, this looks pretty damn cool. James Cameron is producing the film with Tim Miller, who directed Deadpool, directing this movie. And much better trailer. And we were talking pre-show before you got here, Rob. What if Arnold's actually not a Terminator in this? What if he's the guy that they designed their Terminator after? Because if you watch the new trailer, it sure alludes to it. Like, maybe he's not a Terminator.
Because he opens his house.
Yeah.
So.
Mm-hmm. They kind of allude to that.
They show that he has a house.
Because it just feels like there's got to be. It feels like there's a twist in this that we're not seeing. If they're making this take place after Judgment Day, and it's a whole new story, they're erasing the continuity of the other films. They're going to pretend like only 1 and 2 exist.
That's what James Cameron said. on the interview this morning? He said that he watched the last 3 Terminator movies and decided, and says, "Well, I know what I'm not going to do with the sequel."
I still like Salvation though.
Yeah,
I like Salvation too.
it's
Even though
it's
got
all right.
Sam Worthington in it.
So stupid, man. I can't believe they spoiled the movie in the trailers for Salvation.
Yeah.
That and the Genesis. Major
Genesis.
spoilers.
Genesis, they showed everything.
Dude, like
talk
John
about-
Connor's a fucking Terminator. They spoiled that in the trailer. And I was like, God damn, well, I'm not watching the movie then. It's like, no reason to watch it when it's spoiled like
That's
that,
true.
But I did watch it.
I like
It's not
that they brought they did the CGI of Arnold. Is that first scene in Terminator?
That was probably
That thing clean, right?
Terminator's overall though. I think the Terminator franchise has been pretty entertaining. Even if it has a couple of dud movies in there.
Yeah.
And I think it's worthy to have more stories told. And hopefully they do it justice with Dark Fate.
Yeah.
November 1st. That's actually not that far away. 2 months away. It's a early November release. I'm surprised it's not coming out like Thanksgiving or something like that. So
Yeah.
they're trying to get that pie a little bit early. But then again, would you want to go up against Frozen 2 either on Thanksgiving weekend? Probably not.
No.
That movie's going to be huge for Disney. And we'll see. So we've got some Star Wars news to finish out the news this week. Before we talk about that new look at the Rise of Skywalker, man, I think Rob saw my tweet about it. You see these thermal detonator Coke bottles being sold at Galaxy's Edge?
Yes.
And TSA is not letting people bring them home? It's like, come on,
Are you
it's a Coke
serious?
bottle.
Yeah.
Because they look like a grenade, basically.
Oh my God.
I'm
Not
just
really.
like,
They don't really
they
look
look like
like
a Coke
grenade.
bottle. And
Fucking casuals.
and they're really cool, and they always sell them at Galaxy's Edge. They're like $5 for the bottle of Coke, of course.
But you know
And-
those TSA agents are taking them and selling them on eBay.
Oh, sure.
I looked on eBay. Did I show that screenshot with
No.
y'all? It was like $80 for 3 of them.
Fucking Coke
See,
bottle?
there you go. I bet you a TSA agent was selling them.
Probably.
That's unbelievable. I just thought that was hilarious. I mean, I totally get that we're in different times now. You have to be safe and things like that. But it's a fucking Coke bottle. It's like, come on.
So basically, if you go to Galaxy's Edge and you buy the Coke, ship it to yourself
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it'll probably be cheaper. Cost you a few bucks to ship it home.
Yeah.
So,
Or just immediately sell it on eBay while you're at the park.
Sell it on eBay.
and ship it to somebody from the park.
Yeah, there's
Well,
the mobile
like,
app.
People. So I went to the Biggio replica, 2005 championship ring giveaway day, and there were people selling the ring on eBay before the game
Even happened.
Yeah, because they already had tickets and they knew they were, since everyone in the crowd was going to get
Right.
one, that they were going to have some to sell.
Unbelievable. They did that last year with the World Series rings, too. They
Yeah.
were selling them before the game ever started.
Yeah.
But, people made some bank on those.
Yeah, me and Johnny are going on the 9th to get the Bagwell rings.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Good stuff. So we got a new look at The Rise of Skywalker this week from D23. We talked about the Mandalorian trailer last week, but we hadn't gotten the D23 footage yet. So it was kind of funny. It feels like they had about 45 seconds of footage ready to release, and they threw a bunch of other old footage in there to turn it into like this 2-minute trailer. They're like, oh, the nerds will eat that shit up, I guess. Turn it into like a little Star Wars trailer. But the 45 seconds we got were really, really cool. I mean, when people figuratively say, man, that trailer gave me chills or I got goosebumps, I actually kind of really did from this. Man, Rey and Kylo fighting on the Death Star wreckage on Endor, that was really, really cool.
Yeah.
It's almost like J.J. Abrams said, wait a minute, I have my end game too. And that 45 seconds he gave us is just, I think, whetting everyone's appetites for what we're getting on December 20th when this film hits. I mean, 40-year franchise, this is the big conclusion, the Skywalker saga. And I can't wait, man. I mean, honestly, I'm a Star Wars fucking super nerd, as everybody knows. And I like what Disney has done so far with the sequels. I know there's been a vocal minority that fought back against The Last Jedi, but overall, I like what they've done so far. And I can't wait, man. What are y'all's thoughts on the footage? I'm sure y'all saw it by now.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it, dude. I love... I don't know what people's problems are with these. These are far better than the prequel trilogy.
For sure.
Though even though those have their merit, Yeah, just
First world problems, basically.
yeah. I mean, there are people that just have to hate on anything new, for whatever reason. They have miserable lives and want to just be miserable and tear things down for everybody else. I guarantee you there are people out there that shit on things just to shit on things.
Yeah, because it makes them feel better about themselves, even though it really doesn't. Yeah.
They might not even really believe it. They just want to throw some controversy out there.
Yeah.
So
Bunch of edgelords.
yeah, seriously.
With their 5-pound sausage fingers and
5-pound sausage fingers.
oh, I don't like this film. That's fine.
But I'm excited. We all saw the popsicle the dual popsicle stick lightsaber folding down into the Darth Maul type lightsaber. I think that was some kind of Force dream or something.
And I also felt after seeing this, I kind of wish they would kind of market it like they did in-game. I really don't want to see anything else.
Yeah.
If they do put out another trailer in October, just give us something real light. I almost just let December 20th come.
Yeah, in-game had so many.
That's one thing I felt refreshing about in-game.
Yeah,
I really liked the marketing of in-game, because then when I saw the movie, there were so many surprises in it. And I really would love them to do that with The Rise of Skywalker too.
Yeah.
To save us some
I
stuff.
hope they release it worldwide at the same time instead of
Releasing it
a
on
week
the
later.
Eastern side. And then,
Most of the time, the Star Wars releases are usually worldwide.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you've got time zones. Like when Solo came out, I was in New Zealand, and that wasn't great. And I could have saw it before everybody else, but I waited to see it with a friend.
Yeah.
But yeah, people like in New Zealand get it first.
Yeah.
Just because they get it the day of, and they're basically a day ahead of us.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
people spoil stuff as soon as they see it too.
Oh, for sure.
So just stay
Stay
away
off
from
the
the
internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stay away from your mobile
That's
apps.
because I didn't see in-game till Saturday morning, so I really stayed off the internet that Friday. And I made it till Saturday morning and was able to enjoy in-game without knowing anything.
I know that me and Matt, did you try to watch it Thursday release or something? Or
Oh, Endgame?
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw it Thursday.
Yeah.
Me and my son went and saw it.
Yeah, I just screw it. I'm watching on Thursday night, midnight opening. I don't care how late it is. I'll call in sick the next day if I have to.
It was a school night, too.
Yeah.
Mark's like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, my boys got school the next day, and I was like, my boy is going to stay up.
Well, now that
Just write 'em a teacher's note.
I had a wife to answer to still at that time. Guess what? Now
Fair.
I don't. I'm seeing Rise of Skywalker Thursday night,
That's right.
motherfucker.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And so y'all got some thoughts on the footage? Y'all saw?
I think the Evil Ray is legit. We're gonna leave this in a dark
for
place.
5 years, this guy so bad wants to see dark Jedi in Star Wars, but I'm telling you, they're not going to do that.
Bastila was dark, and
That's all.
and KOTOR.
That's all legendary stuff, though. That's not continuity.
Yeah, and they're gonna make
They
Star
can
Wars
use-
legendary now.
They can use any of that stuff.
Oh, true.
If the lightsaber battle in this is better than the Last Jedi's lightsaber battle, I'll be happy.
Dude, that battle against the Red Guards.
Oh, that was awesome.
It was
was-
cool until I started picking up on little details that I would like.
And still,
I've watched it multiple times. It's just like, I don't know. It's just some stuff that just pops up. I don't want to ruin it for y'all. So
No, man.
I
just
love that.
little
Just
details I picked up
when I was in the
on.
theater watching it for the first time,
It was cool the first time. Yeah.
I was like, oh,
I like whenever people started splicing, music onto it. Like they spliced like some Queen songs.
Well, have you seen the Rise of Skywalker? The first trailer came out with What's Up Danger attached to it from Spider-Verse.
I didn't.
It's actually really cool. The music fits so well with the Star Wars trailer.
My favorite lightsaber battle from this new iteration is the Force Awakens one in the snow. That's my favorite because it was so emotionally charged.
Yeah.
Because Han just died, and you want to kill Kylo so badly.
And then when Rey feels the Force flow through her, yeah, it's really amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can't wait. December 20th, coming soon. That's all the news I got. It was a short news week. It wasn't a lot happened. But, it's end of summer. Things are slowing down.
College football started. Your Longhorns won.
Yeah.
There we go.
Fuck that Tom Herman guy.
Fair enough, Rob. Fair enough. And,
I messed with him too, with Tom. He's like, he's going to leave. And I was like, nope. He ain't leaving. And he left. Not only that, he drove a U of H sponsor car to the airport and then called the sponsor and said, hey, I drove this so I could go fly to Austin. AET, you need to pick it up. Yeah.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
It's okay.
Sounds like normie shit to me.
Let's preview next week's movie. And we kind of have a tradition where we pick movies around our birthday.
Yep.
Matt's birthday is coming up September 11th, and so we did a little poll. So next weekend's gonna be Matt's birthday movie, and it's gonna be The Last Action Hero.
Frank.
He's okay. Find a room. Nick! I've seen this letter 6 times. I just got word.
This is a magic ticket. It's a passport to another world.
Whoa!
Who the hell are you?
I'm Danny Madigan. I'm a kid. I'm in the movie.
Who the hell are you, kid? And where's that smile on his face?
Meet Mr. Benedict.
Tell me how I know they tortured Frank and then stashed him behind his front door. Because this is a movie!
You stay here to make sure everything goes on as planned. Find out who talked and have him killed.
This ticket is magic and it really works.
You really believe that you're inside a movie, don't you?
Yes! The bad guys are in there.
Hello, Toto.
He's got the ticket! He's gone over to my world! Please be careful, things look different here. Focus!
That little turd, Daniel Madigan, can move through parallel worlds. I can move through parallel worlds. It hurts.
Where am I now?
This isn't the movies anymore, Jack.
Don't move.
Then you go in there, and it's your bad. Bad guys can win.
You are gonna die!
To be or not to be?
Everybody down!
He has been going to the movies.
Not to be.
So Matt's going to make us watch one of Arnold's not better movies, but still not a terrible movie. It's kind of a fun movie.
Great soundtrack.
Yeah, good soundtrack.
It was set up
Allison
for
Chain.
success. I was telling Long this earlier. The writer for Lethal Weapon, the director of Die Hard, and the Terminator himself. So how could this movie not succeed as well as it did? We'll tell you next week.
It's just very interesting to go from American Werewolf in London and Forbidden Planet to classic films. So go do a 90s cheese film.
Hey, there's
But, you know,
there's classic in here.
should be
You know,
fun.
Macbeth. Macbeth?
something. I
Yeah,
don't
it's-
remember.
well,
thank-
Hamlet or something.
Thank you for
Hamlet.
having me watch Forbidden Planet.
Oh,
and
yeah.
not Last Action Hero.
Yes.
Again. I was one of the few that saw it in the theaters.
That's awesome.
But so that,
That
Not-
movie had the misfortune of coming out the same week as Jurassic Park.
Yes,
Yeah.
sure did.
so that'll be next week on the show, The Last Action Hero, as we celebrate Matt's birthday.
Yes.
But thank you, Rob, man, for coming and hanging out with us. It was awesome.
Thanks for having me in your cabin.
Thanks for
in
the
the
ghost
woods.
story.
Yes,
Hey, no
he kept
problem.
the ghost story tradition alive. So whoever's next for the show, which we don't have any guests planned right now, I've been trying to get Brandon on from Cult 45.
Yeah.
And so he's going to have to come with a ghost story. I'm going to have to explain to him why the tradition, if I'm able to get him on soon. He's kind of in the same boat as me, though. I think he's a single dad, so it's hard for him sometimes to get to where he needs to be. So one day, hopefully, we have him on the show, and he's going to have to bring a ghost story. So it worked out. But no, I'm glad we were able to make this work, Rob. It was fun, man.
Thank you for
I'm glad
having
you were
me.
able to come out and hang. And as always, go to the RebelRadioPodcast.com. And follow us on all apps and leave us a 5-star review. We appreciate that. And look for the new episodes there. Every Monday morning I release a new episode. It's usually about 7 a.m. I set it up for release, so you can never miss an episode. And Patreon coming soon, hope. So we can take all your money that y'all want to give us. So, but that's it, man. As always, this is Mark.
This is Matt.
This is Long.
I'm Robb Zipp.
Thank you for coming, Rob. We really appreciate it. And until next week, have a good week. And remember, thanks for listening to Rob Radio Podcast. And just go there and do it.
Do it.
This is Ming Chen from AMC's Comic Book Man. I love Houston. I love podcasting. But what I really love is the Rebel Radio Podcast.